Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Prowess Live. I am Leah Steinkirk here with Prowess Project, where we help women that are pivoting in their careers or ready to get started as online business managers. We help vet, train, and match them up with CEOs that need automation and their automation and their operational gifts. Let's kick things off today with a fun question, and that is, what is your one guilty pleasure that you purchase when you've hit a business milestone? You can just throw that answer into chat. I will admit that mine, and this sounds kind of crazy, I'm going to date myself, is that it's a book. I like to, I have my list of books, and I will admit I'm like the Kindle junkie. I read everything for free. And when I hit that milestone, my reward is the next beautiful book with their jacket cover on the list. I like to make that purchase. So just building that library over there. Fun jewels, that is amazing. Pedicure, I love it. Well, I want you guys to get ready to hit those milestones today because I think we have a ton of wisdom coming at us. I will admit that one of my favorite parts of doing these live shows is the prep that I get to do beforehand and what I get to do to learn about our guests and take the notes and do the research. And I get to learn all of that. And our guest today has so much wisdom to share. And one thing about our guest is that she is committed to helping entrepreneurs. And so, with all of her background, she pours that into her profession and her career. And I'm so grateful that she's with us today. So, I'm going to welcome Dr. Susie Carder, a fractional COO, profit coach, and author. Dr. Susie, welcome.
What's up? I'm so excited to be here. Welcome, everyone.
Yes.
This was one of my purchases, this fun diamond necklace. We had a really big goal with another client. She kind of does the same thing. So every year we write down, if we hit this goal, what are we going to get? So it's so fun.
So you
little ones, but we have 4 strategic big events that we do together. And so then we accumulate, we go, okay, so from these events, we're going to do 1.5 million from these 4 events. And then what are we going to buy ourselves, right? From the fun thing. So it's just that instant gratification of going, how close are you? How close are you? She usually buys bags, like high-end bags.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care. Like I have a couple of them and that's good for me. But I do love jewels.
Love it. I love it. And then you have it every day to remind you of that success.
Exactly. Like I do it, right? So
yes.
Yeah.
Well, amazing. I would love for you to introduce yourself to our audience of, online business managers and kind of how you got to where you are today and what you're currently doing.
Awesome. So I'm Dr. Susie Carder, and I am a fractional COO. And what that means is I help people put their systems and strategies in place. So we work on their sales, marketing, operations, and finance. We look at where are the holes in their businesses, and then what support do they need to accomplish those. We work with OBMs all the time. I'm recommending OBMs all the time. OBMs are my secret weapon for my clients because we cannot run our businesses without a really juicy OBM. The OBM or that operations person is the first person I always hire, even before an assistant, even before a salesperson. It's you, this is what you need. This person will help you get organized. An assistant is a glorified taskmaster, where an OBM is the meat and potatoes. So I've built 10 multi-million-dollar businesses to $10 million businesses, and my passion is helping other entrepreneurs build it to sell it. Whether you sell it today, tomorrow, 10 years from now, is it a sellable business, or do you own a sexy job? Now, a sexy job can be okay if that's what you want. You want a lifestyle business, that's okay. But most people want to create a legacy. So our clients are between 1 million and 10 million, helping them scale and streamline their businesses. So I've traveled all over the world and have done this for 30 years. Yes, I'm seasoned. I'm aging myself. Got a really good esthetician, but I am seasoned. And has been fortunate enough to travel all over the world and help entrepreneurs build, scale, and sell their businesses.
Oh, fantastic. And again, everyone, this is why I'm so excited to have Dr. Susie with us here today. Starting off with one, I hate to go negative, but with all of your past experiences, I would love to know what you see as some of the common mistakes that entrepreneurs make and how OBMs who are starting their own businesses now can kind of avoid some of those.
Yeah. So the first mistake I see, and the difference between $100,000 business and $1 million business, just so you all know, is zeros. That's it. There's still the same chaos. There's still the same, strategies. It's just you're managing more zeros. So the first mistake I see is you don't put a plan together. You don't put a business plan together. You're pulling it out of your genius zone. That can come from back here. That can come from here, wherever your genius zone is. Mine came from my behind. I just pulled it out of my butt and went, we're going to do this without the strategy. So, but ignorance on fire. And I did really well with ignorance on fire, but ignorance on fires will only take you so far. And then you'll build it on sinking sand versus cement. And so putting together that foundation, which is your business plan, the business plan becomes the roadmap. The second thing I put in place, because most entrepreneurs don't do it, is the financial plan. If you don't put that financial plan together, you will overspend. You won't project, you won't play as big, right? Because you can't see it. You have to be able to see it and see. I think, Leah, some people can manage units and some people can manage numbers. If I say, let's do $1 million this month, people will get scared. But if I say, let's sell 10 of these, let's sell 20 of these, there's a bigger breakthrough. So if you needed 10 clients to hit your million, great, then let's go get 10 clients. That's easier than say, I need to make $1 million. Whatever your comfortability is until your mindset gets in the space of understanding numbers and playing a game. Because I believe math is money and money is fun. Nobody wants to do the math, but we all want the advantage of the money. And so creating, especially being in a role of OBM, having entrepreneurs not be afraid of the money, not being afraid to look at the numbers and you have to make entrepreneurs look at it because they want to go with the sparkle, the squirrel, the dazzle, the razzle. And that's not what's going to do it, right? It's what we do from an operations standpoint. And OBMs are my right-hand person. Right? When I'm working with a new client, the first thing I do is, do we have an OBM? If we not, I have to go find one for them, right? That fits their culture. Because I'm going to give you the strategy, but we need the implementers, which is you guys. That's why I'm so excited to be here, because you are my people and I cannot do anything without an OBM or an operations person, right? There's not enough just to have the strategy. We all know that you have to have that implementer.
Well, yes, 100% agree. And I'm curious in that there's always that the danger zone of when you're working with an entrepreneur as an OBM where they might not be able to hear the feedback. Do you have any recommendations to help with that mindset shift of getting them to see just what you said, that it can be fun, or that we have to, and maybe it's like, how do you diagnose the ones that want to hear the numbers versus the ones that need to hear the units?
So in my intake question, the first thing one of the questions I say is, what's the best way to coach you? When you're stopped, when you're stuck, what's the best way to coach you? And they'll tell you exactly how to coach them, right? What's going to show up when you're stressed? What's the one thing I can say when you're not being coachable that will have you be coachable? From the beginning of any client that I work with, I let them know, look, you're not going to like me all the time. And if you like me all the time, I'm not doing my job. Because I should be pushing you to be uncomfortable. I should be expanding what you're creating and what you're doing. That's my role. That's my job. And so if you set that boundary up front to go, my job is to find the holes that we're not doing, help you distinguish those holes, and then create systems to simplify that hole. Right. So again, I'm sharing the challenge, but I'm going to be the answer. Right. So I'm going to be the answer. I'm going to give you the tool. I'm going to give you the system. But what's that thing that's going to confront you? So they'll tell you, I don't want to look at the numbers. I don't know what key metrics to follow. I don't know what the KPIs I need to be looking at. So then that becomes your secret weapon to go, oh, let me help you find an easier way. And if you understand that entrepreneurs either like the gross number or they want units, then you can communicate in their language. Right. So making sure that you're communicating how they need to hear it so they can actually implement it. So if they're going to do $1 million, you want to look at their programs to go, well, what can I help you with? How can I help you achieve that goal?
Oh, I love that. And I think that is so important of having the conversation in the beginning. We talk a lot about emotional intelligence here at Prowess and really learning that person's communication style. So I love how you said that of like in the beginning, letting them know you're not going to like me all the time because there's always going to be those challenges that comes up. And if they know you're coming from that place of help, that, you know, magic can happen there.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I want to respect you, not like you. If I've been in business 35 years. So I've hired yes people that just told me yes, but those are the people that have not stretched me in my business. Right? A good OBM is supposed to find our blind spots and then help us solve that problem, empower me to see that it's a problem, and then how do we fix it together? Right? That's the power of communication. Whoever knows the rules wins. And so if you understand, like either doing an assessment with them, right, having them do a comprehensive intake where these are my strengths, these are my underdeveloped strengths, I can just say, well, remember you said that the financial strategy wasn't your strength. So let's find a way that you can embrace this. Y'all, I was horrible, horrible at the finances when I first started. I'm a typical entrepreneur. I'm a creative. I could just go make the money. I could spend the money really well too, right? And when my accountant would say, we have two P&Ls, right? Accrual and cash. I'm like, I don't like that accrual. The cash one that says I don't have money. The accrual one says I have money, right? Like, why do I need two? I just want to look at that one. So it took me years to understand it, but I had a really good operations person that sat me down and really took their time with me, really explained the difference, really said, Susie, this is why we need to know, this is why we need the accrual, but this is why we need the cash. Cash is king. If we run out of cash, doesn't matter how much the books say we have, people owe us that money. And that's the biggest challenge with entrepreneurs, because we're doing payment plans to keep people in programs. And if they don't pay, I can't pay my team. I can't pay for marketing. I can't pay for my ads. I can't pay for those things. So entrepreneurs have to understand it, because if the cash flow is tight, they can go out of business. You can go out of business from growing too fast, and you can go out of business from growing too slow.
Again, so much wisdom. And what I like about you're saying, for what I like to do is create that dashboard, right? So they
Yeah.
can visually see those numbers. Are there any other things that you think are so important to start with those entrepreneurs, like other processes or strategy structures to really help them make the shift to making their businesses more functional?
Yeah. So their business plan is key. Making them. We've got to get it out of their head, because they're directing us, right? And I'm a glorified OBM. If you look at that, right? I'm operations. So we've got to get it out of their head so we can get it on paper, so that we're not firefighting, because they will firefight. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to spend my days doing that anymore. Like I was creating fires, creating chaos. And it was people like you, Leah, that said, we can't do it this way. Right. The only reason I do what I do is because I had to learn how to do it the hard way, and went, why is nobody teaching this? Why are we focusing just on sales, which is great, but if we don't have the structure in the background to sustain it, we'll go out of business, right? So the business plan, as much as they can to get it out of their head, so we as operations in the OBM can now put a plan to what's in their head. And then that plan keeps them focused so that we don't get off track and go, oh, Leah, we're going to do this project and that project and this project. And then you're running in circles and chaos trying to do all these projects. And then they keep adding more projects on top of it, which is extremely frustrating, right? Because you're like, I can't even keep up with the 10 projects that you started last month. We can't keep starting new projects. So the plan really allows you to see, and them to see, let's stay focused. And the beauty of an entrepreneur is we can make magic. We can create, money out of thin air, but it has to be, with a plan, because we'll outspend in marketing, right? We'll spend so much more money chasing something versus being really committed to 3 things, not 10 things, 3 things. What are 3 things this quarter? Bringing it down to the quarter so that they're clear. This quarter, we're working on that. Oh, we can do that. Do you want to do it second quarter, third quarter, or fourth quarter? Can't do it this quarter. Like we have to learn how to say no and push back with CEOs, because CEOs will try to do everything in Q1. No, not realistic. It can happen. And I'm just speaking from my own experience because I'm the worst, right? I literally, Leah, I would go on the road and sell shit that I made up on the road and come back to you and go, I just sold $100,000 of this thing. They're like, we don't have this thing. I know, I'm going to make it. And they're like, holy shit, when did you tell them? I said 12 weeks. That's enough time, right? It's like, no.
Yes, I've lived that one. Yes.
Oh, that's
Yes.
funny.
Well, and you're reading my mind, because my question that I was thinking about in there was like, what is the right way to, how do you say the no, right? But I like how you said that, what are the 3 things that we're going to do this quarter? And you can say the yes, but we're going to do it next quarter, or down, we're further down the roadmap when there actually is the time.
We'll give them the choice, right? So they feel empowered, but again, the one who knows the rules wins. So feel like this is a great idea. So Q1, we said we're going to do this. Q2, we said we're going to do this. Q3, we said we're going to do this. Q4, we're going to do this. What are we going to move? What's the bigger priority? What's the bigger money opportunity? Because some things when we're in networking events and, there's so much sparkle squirrel that's out there, right? So much opportunity to go, will this be a bigger ROI than what we already have on our plan? And if the answer is no, it's like, well, maybe we put it on a wait list for 2026 or 2027, whatever the year is, to have them start thinking strategically, right? Because entrepreneurs don't think strategically and they don't analyze pitfalls. Most of them, right? It's opportunity, 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 which is great. But will that bring us the ROI for this year? And if sometimes it does, right? A great opportunity comes up, right? A great opportunity came up for me, during the pandemic was a movie that wasn't on my plan anywhere, but it was a great opportunity for exposure that then I pushed something out to Q3 so I could do it in Q2, right? To go, okay, well, this makes sense. It's going to bring us leads. It's going to give us exposure. We were playing with some high caliber people. So just name recognition. We all decided as a team, I've learned, because my OBM had to train me, to go, what will I move to put this in? And does this make sense to put this in?
Fantastic. I think I love the way that you're phrasing that on the ROI, because I think that is a great reflection question, because the wheels have to start turning there to answer that. So again, that's a great way to not just say the no, but to further the conversation.
And ask those probing questions. What will this get us in leads? What will this get us in exposure? What will this get us in credibility? Right? Because we all think this project is the project. Even that movie that I did, like, it wasn't really the big ROI that I was thinking of. Like, we're still playing, like 5 years later, I'm still playing with that team that we did the movie with, but cash wise, not a big ROI. Exposure wise, yes. Credibility wise, I don't know, right? It's like, that one's hard to measure. But again, as an entrepreneur, now I'm like, I'm not going to do that, right? I can say no, because I've done some stuff that's like, what is the ROI? There's not one. So my ego, and a lot of times we get sucked in the ego projects, but the ego projects don't pay the bills. Our job is to say, what are those things that we're going to get from it? And does it make sense for you to, because again, as the CEO, what's the highest income producing activity only they can do, right? Is this going to give you the ROI for your time and for the company? Yes, it's a ego project or an exposure project, but is it going to make us the money, whatever their overhead is, $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, $100,000 a month? Because that time is going to take me away from sales. It's going to take me away from speaking. It's going to take me away from all the other things I need to do. Does it make sense? So that critical thinking, which it's what we do as OBMs, as operations, is that critical thinking part for them. And we have to train that. That is not innate in entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are phenomenal technicians who get excited and think they can do it better than whoever they were working for, right? That's what we're great at. But that doesn't necessarily bring in the money and the sustainability in a business. It's the operations that bring in the sustainability. And so part of my training with my team is operations is most important. They always think they need an assistant, but and I know it's not about the tasks. It's about the result. And so your language as an OBM is to, I'm going to help you create more results. And a really great OBM will pay for themselves inside themselves, meaning free me up so I can go make more money. Free me up so I'm not in the minutia. An assistant's not. An assistant's going to come to me and keep saying, what's next, what's next, what's next. I don't have time for that. The OBM can bring on an assistant, train them to support me once the OBM knows this is all the stuff that we're going to take off her plate or his plate, whoever that is, right? So that's when they're deciding, do I hire an OBM at $60, $70 an hour, or do I hire an assistant at overseas for $5 an hour, or in the States, $30 an hour? It's like, well, my $60 or $70 an hour with an OBM is going to give me 10 times what an assistant would. And that's what I always tell people is, no, this person, you might think it's expensive, but you're going to pay way more money to that assistant that doesn't know anything about business, doesn't know anything about systems, trying to teach them while you're trying to sell. So in your shtick, right, in your script, you need to put that in there because it's money, right? They're just looking at dollars going, oh my God, it's $60, $70 an hour, whatever you guys are charging, and going, well, I can't afford that. No, you can't afford not to do that.
I love this. And thank you very much for saying that. Do you have any advice? Because I see as OBMs, and I've lived this, we can get in there and we can set up structure, we can set up automation, but we are not really great at reframing that to say how much money we are saving them or the revenue generating. Do you have any advice on how an OBM can frame that back to say, this is what I saved you, or this is where I am covering my cost?
Well, I think every time you're doing your monthly recap, weekly recap, is the one question you want to end every single meeting with is, Leah, what was the value of this conversation? That one question, because when they come back and go, I've got no value, you pull up your notes. Well, on January 10th, this was a value. On January 30th, this was a value. On February 2nd, this was a value. And you'll see it. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to put a monetary value to it because they save time. So if you look at the average CEO, their time is worth about $250 an hour. So know that number, right? So if you look at the average business, if you're doing 200,000, you're going to take that 200,000 and divide it by 2,087 hours, right? And that'll give you an average dollar per hour. But if you say a CEO should be $250 an hour, so you're only paying me, again, I'm making the numbers up based on what I paid an OBM, a $60 or $70 an hour, right? So right there, I just saved you, right, that much money. So it's, again, we have to reiterate, your time, Susie, is worth $250. This is not a job for you. Your time, Leah, is, if you're the CEO, $250 an hour, let me handle that. Let me get it done, and then it'll be automated. So we're always quantifying our value, right, inside of a business. I'm always doing benchmarks, where they were before, where they were after. If you implement a new system, then I would say, Leah, what was the value of that system being put in place? Oh my God, it saved me and my team so much time. It gave our salespeople the freedom to work on another sale, close the deal faster. Wow. And then what was that benefit to close that deal faster? So we have to do the probing of the value that we bring, because they can't see what we do in the background. I can't see what a type form is giving me. I can't see. Well, before I had to chase them, before I had to email them, before I had to have my assistant email them. Now it's just in or out, right? I don't have to bug my assistant. I don't have to bug you. I could go to the Trello board and it's all there, right? That the power of that is just like, oh, I need that. It's in Trello, versus now getting a $30 an hour person going, can you send me that, right? It might be 10 minutes, but still that's 10 minutes. I can just go myself when I'm trained, because you do have to train us. You can't just build it. You have to train me and make me to go use it. So if I call you and say, Leah, where's this? Go, oh, let me show you. Let's get on Zoom. Let's go into Trello. Here's where it is. Does that make sense? Yes, it makes sense. We do want to learn as entrepreneurs and CEOs, right? If that makes sense for us to do that. But most, if you're working with solopreneurs or small companies, it's the CEO and you, right? That's the team to go, let me train you how to do this so that you're not doing the minutia. Right. I can go get a password. I can go get a system. I can go get a process. I can go get that. Right. Let's use your team for the highest income producing activity. So when you're working with a CEO, that question, and you guys want to write that down, what's the highest income producing activity only the CEO can do? and what's the highest income producing activity only you can do as an OBM. Because in the beginning, you're going to do everything and then it doesn't make sense, right? At a certain point, you're like, we need an assistant because I'm doing $30, $20, $5 an hour work and you're paying me $60 an hour. This makes no sense, right? So it always comes down to a mathematical equation. That's why I love math, right? The numbers don't lie. Like, it doesn't make sense I'm working 40 hours and 20 of that is minutia. Like, let's get a $30 an hour person and I'm going to save you however many hours, whatever that number is. I don't have my calculator in front of me.
That's okay. This is all pure gold. I mean, because I love the way that you're saying it, because it's business focused. None of it is aggressive or like bragging on ourselves. Because again, I don't think OBMs like to talk about themselves that way. We
Right.
like to just get the work done and get out of there. But that question is like the value. What is the value of this? I mean, that again, in your weekly wrap up, your monthly wrap up, it is just a great way to check in on everything. And I think they're really going to appreciate that question.
Well, even in our closing, right, is what would be the value? Like, and you're finding out what their needs are, right, in the needs analysis. And so let's say I need systems, I need an onboarding, I've got, 100 software, I don't know what to do with them. And then so you're making this list of all the things that they need help with. What would be the value if I got that off your plate? Oh my God, the value would be I could sleep, I could spend time with my family, I could go to the gym, oh my God, I don't even know. Then the next thing I say is, what are you willing to do to get relief from that? And the answer you want to hear is, I'll do anything. If they say that, they're a good client, because now they're going to be coachable. Right now, they're going to be willing to take your coaching to go, I'll do anything. I am bogged down in the minutia, in the weeds. I don't want to be in the weeds. Perfect. That's what an OBM does. That's what a great operations person does. That's what this plan will give you. That's what you get when you hire me. That's what you get when you hire my company.
It sells itself. I love it.
It does. I always tell my students, I don't ever sell. I find the need, fill the need. Find the need, fill the need. Right? Because once I do that, then they can't live without us. Right? Mm-hmm. It's like, oh my God, this is the magic. This is the juice. So I want to give them the juice.
Yes. Yes. That's a lot of diamond necklaces right there.
Yes.
I love it.
Dropping the diamonds.
Yes. And I think the other thing that OBMs should trust, like you said, that critical thinking, a lot of times as they're talking and just what would be the value, we're already making that list of systems. We're already making the list of the technology we want to test out. So trust that, right? Like OBMs should be putting that stuff forward. But
I would say, add something to that.
Uh-huh.
What I would say is, if you're already doing that, then wrapping the meeting goes, Susie, based on what you've just told me, here's what I see just on a high level. This. Wow. What would be the value if I could put that all in place for you? So then I know, wow, this is a sharp cookie, right? This one, oh, she gets what I need. Oh my God. Yes. So there's something called agreement pacing. This is the NLP juicy stuff in sales. If you tell a person 3 relevant things that he or she knows or believes to be true, the 4th thing you say will be accepted without question. So let me give you an example of that. Leah, so you said you needed a system to onboard every client so it's consistent. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
You said you needed a system to find out what your team's doing, because right now they say they're working, but I don't know they're working. So we need to implement something like a toggle. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Then you said your database is so scattered and you want to segment them and put them in buckets. So we're only mailing to those people that really want that offer. Did I hear you correct?
Yes.
So can I make a recommendation? The recommendation is you. That's the 4th thing. So if you tell somebody 3 things they know or believe to be true, the 4th thing you say will be accepted without question. So it could be 4 or 10, but 3 is the minimum. But I want to get Leah going, yes. So can I make a recommendation? Yes, please. Yes, help me. Right? It's like that. Oh my God. And then you say, based on this, we need 20 hours a week, 40 hours a week, whatever that is. And then here's what I say, high level, I'll put this all on paper for you, but high level, here's our 30-day, 60-day, 90-day. Do you want to get started? Never selling them. Do you want to get started? Boom, drop the mic. It's like, well, yes, you're going to give me all that. Yes, yes, yes. I'm just saying magic.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, and again, that's like you said, it's not selling, and that's going to feel natural to these OBMs that because you guys are all thinking it anyway, right? Like as we're sitting there all, I thank you for that because that
Yeah.
is amazing.
Gold. Diamonds. That's
Diamonds, yes.
diamonds.
I don't want to take up too much of your time today, but
I can do this all day long because we are the secret weapon, right? And if you don't get anything out of this call, but to know that you are the secret weapon, and they don't need an assistant first, right? They need you first. They have to have that. We have to have this, the systems. The business will not grow without the backbone, and we are the backbone.
Yes, 100%. So how do you protect yourself as that backbone? Because you're taking on a lot for those clients, right? Like, how do those operators, those OBMs protect themselves from burnout?
Well, that's your own boundaries, right? Because we will dump a ton on you. So when I started with my first OBM, I was nervous, right? $60 an hour. That was a lot. I didn't know what they could do. And so we went from $1,500 a month to $12,000 a month because she kept bringing value. I kept needing more. So in our meetings, I would say, okay, here's the whole, or here's what I need. Here's the whole. I sold myself. She didn't sell me. But as my business grew, she just came with more solutions. She came with more answers to my problems that I needed, right? From people to and being cost effective, right? We hired people overseas to save on the budget, right? She's like, okay, you're going to pay me $2,000 to do this. She's project managing, and then she's hiring people that she's paying $5 an hour, $10 an hour, right? So one is as you start growing, you need to look at how do I outsource this for cheaper so that you're the highest income producing activity. So if you're being paid $60 an hour for something, can I get someone to do it for $10 an hour, $15 an hour overseas, right? And find a really good team. So I have a really good team overseas that I use for my clients as well as the OBMs that I use, right? Because sometimes they're project stuff and we just need a lead magnet or we need a landing page. They don't necessarily need an OBM at this point, but I'm building them up to need an OBM, right? To go, oh, imagine if you have this all the time, like quit working hard. You think you creating a landing page is the best use of your time? No, it's not. Let's find somebody else to do that. Do you think project managing this and you're dropping the balls is a good use of your time? No, it's not. So part of our self-worth, you have to work on owning your power and owning what your business does, which provides answers. It simplifies, brings solutions to free the CEO up to do their highest income producing activity, which means more money.
Again, pure gold. Yes. Diamonds, pure diamonds. Yes. Because, and I think, again, like you said, owning their power. I think that's so important to see it that way. Because as OBMs, a lot of people that come through our training, now they are the CEO of their own business, right? So I think this type of framework is where they need to turn it. And we've been saying that lately is you need to have that meeting with yourself as a CEO of your own company, is sit down and work through all of this.
And understanding what is your value proposition, right? What does it really cost you? Again, you can price yourself out of the market being too expensive, but you can also do it for too cheap. The average OBM is $60 an hour. So if you come in at $20 an hour, I'm thinking, what's wrong with them? I don't know, right? Again, am I your qualified client? I might not be your qualified client. I might be too high or too low, right? To go, what's that qualified client and will they value that price point, right? Because if you undercharge, I'm going to think there's something wrong with you. To go, I don't know, that's too cheap, right? Because I've been in business for 35 years. I've spent a lot of money wrong and a lot of money right. And there is, for the level of expertise that an OBM brings, they're not cheap, not a good one, right? And we all know that. right? We know that they're not cheap, but they're good, right? Because they have a team of people that are working for them that allows me to leverage what I am doing. So just as much as I'm saying to get the CEO to put their plan together, what's your plan, right? What's your growth strategy? And you can't do it all. You can't be the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. You have to start building your team and your international team so you have more profits, right? Because you can't afford to pay somebody $30 an hour if you're only getting $60 an hour. There's no money in there for you to do marketing. There's no money in there for you to, 50% is not enough money to run a business.
Yes. Couple more questions. One, I'm wondering going the opposite way. When should OBMs be telling their CEO, hey, you need someone like Dr. Susie, you need a fractional COO to come in and help you because you've hit that point?
I think when they're stuck in their strategy or they can't see the growth opportunity, right? They're like, they've taken it as far as they can, or if they're still selling time for money to go, how do I leverage what I'm doing, right? How do I make more money? I'm the money. Money is everywhere. So I can see it everywhere. I've been doing this a long time, so I've got 10 books. We've written hundreds of programs. We've done masterminds. We've done group training. We've done one-on-one training, right? And worked with high valued entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs, the challenge is they're not valuing their product and service as high as it needs to be. When you truly are the expert, right, then we need to charge expert prices. Because if I'm too cheap, people are going to go, what's wrong with Susie, right? She's supposed to be the profit coach. She's supposed to be, this strategist. I have a client now. She's going, well, that's expensive. It's relative. Not when I'm making you $1 million. It's not expensive. You're going to pay me $100,000 to make $1 million. What have you been doing now? You're not making $1 million now. Mm-hmm. So choose. Either we're doing it or not doing it. And be okay to walk away, because sometimes we need to fall on our face to realize I need Leah, to realize I need Natalie, to realize I need Josie, who's my OBM, is to go, wow, I really need this person to help me. So we've got to fall on our face, right? That could be your needs analysis, right? In my book, Power Your Profits, if you suck at sales, right, just go to the sales chapter, because I give you my $100,000 script, right? So you can go to our website, susiecarder.com, and it's my script I've been using for 30 years, right? It has NLP in it. I used to teach NLP, and then people didn't know how to use it in their business. I'm like, let me just give you my script. I use the script every single time I'm on a sale, because I'm a coach. You're a coach. You're a fixer. You're a doer. In a sales conversation or in a needs analysis conversation, that's not the time to do it or prove it. It's the time to gather information and then be the solution. You've got to cause them pain. They have to see the pain, because at our level, they still think they can do it all. No, you got to see the pain and what is it costing them in time, in money, in relationships, in affinity, in health and well-being, in family. And you're giving me my life back as an OBM. A really good OBM and OBM team will give me my freedom as an entrepreneur. And that's worth any amount of money. So then I can go work on sales. I can go speak. I can go close another client, not create another form. I love systems. I love them, but don't have me build a funnel. I don't love that part, right? But I love creating systems, but that's not my highest income producing activity. My highest income producing activity is talking to the client, creating that, and then selling you. So I sell my OBM. Last month, I sold her two $30,000 contracts. I get a small revenue share, but I don't want to do that work for my client. I would rather bring you in and go, okay, here's what we need to do. I'm not doing it. And they'll say, well, why do I need them if I have you? Because I'm strategy. I'm not the implementer. You don't want me building a funnel. And I'm just transparent. If you want to build a multi-million-dollar business, you have to invest money. And if you're not willing to invest money, I'm not the right coach for you, because I'm going to have you invest money to get your ROI. Some people think, right, it's, a magic wand. We don't share our wand. You've got to do the work, right? Meaning they have to sell, because we might put the campaigns together, but they still have to get on the call with a client. They still have to close that client. That's not our job as operations. Right? That's boundaries.
Yes. We could talk all day about that one, but thank you so much. This is so much wisdom. Like I said, I was so excited looking through all of your resources. You mentioned your website. Are there other places that OBMs can find your content?
Yeah, so I want to give you one of my secret sauce.
Okay.
So I'm going to put it in the chat. This is my cash calculator. This one little spreadsheet will show you like how many qualified leads they need to get in order to hit that revenue goal. So it's broken down by revenue. So if they have a mastermind and they want to do $100,000, right, it'll tell them how many qualified leads. Because what happens with entrepreneurs, like, I want to do 100,000, I only need 10 clients. No, if you suck at sales, you need 1,000 leads. If you're good at sales, you need 250 leads, right? So it's all looking at what do I need in order for my business to thrive. That one little spreadsheet pays for you, right? Because they'll show you, look, I'm going to show you how to make 500,000, 300, whatever their number is. But this is how many leads we need. So if we need 2,000 leads, we've got to do ads. We've got to get you on stages, right? We've got to do these other things, right? Because people think it's one-on-one. I get a lead, I close a lead. No, I don't even do that. I do 80%, which is phenomenal, but I have highly curated leads that I've spent years really defining those qualified leads. So I've got a ton of things. You can go listen to our podcast. Our podcast is only badass business women and men that do $1 million in sales, right? So you're listening to entrepreneurs that have been there, and we talk about the realness, right? We're not sugarcoating. We're not selling you. We're going, what are the biggest challenges that you've had to really understand, especially if you're just starting out, what are the biggest challenges for entrepreneurs in building a multi-million-dollar business? I've built 10 of them, 2 $10 million businesses. You can go to our YouTube channel. I give free education every single month, right? We do 4 juicy videos every month to give you content that we're struggling as entrepreneurs, so that, again, you can be the resource for them to go here, go there. We need this, we need that. And whatever we need, you can reach out to us. Love to support you. And Leah, if you want me to come on again, I'll come on again. I love pouring into our community because, again, we're the backbone of the business. And more people need to understand. They think sales is the backbone, but if you're not capturing those sales, nurturing those sales, leveraging those sales, it's a waste of time.
Yep, they're just going to sit there. This has been amazing. And yes, I would love for you to come back. And again, we can dive into the whole boundary part on all of that. So thank you so much. We will put all of your links so people can find those in the show notes, and then they're here in the chat. And we will see everyone next week.